Mr. Chairman, sir, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I think that you'll agree with me that at the end of this address, or the keynote address, I might as well have closed the session and told us to go home. We've learned all we needed to learn from Professor Mba. But necessity requires that we should chew it over and then try and link it up with what we have for our own presentations. So we thank you again immensely, sir, for this very, very well-researched presentation. It will help all our experts and the participants in the days to come while we're here. Again, I was very happy that my welcome address was skipped, simply because it would have been inappropriate for me to start welcoming the Vice Chancellor into his own domain. And since he was going to do the keynote address, I thought maybe he should combine that welcoming, first initial welcoming, and the keynote address, and it worked out beautifully. So I can now welcome you under his umbrella, and then at a lower level of Coficon. Thank you very much. Now, the Vice Chancellor, Absu, Professor Mba. Thank you. The chairman of this occasion and the provost at the State College of Education, Technical, Arochukwu, Professor E.O. Ngamakolam. What does the E and the O stand for? Ernest and Obunaya Ngamakolam. You're welcome. And all due protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to the first national seminar and workshop on improving teaching skills in Nigerian tertiary education institutions. In this brief address, I wish to comment on some aspects of mentoring as an adjunction to standard and novel mechanisms of improving teaching and research skills in relevant attitudes of teachers of tertiary education institutions. In this seminar and workshop organized by the Council for Intellectual Cooperation of Nigeria, Coficon, as our first public project, and members of the local organizing committee chaired by Professor Nenna T. Kano, and the technical team have all worked very hard over the past 6 months to assemble capable resource persons to tackle and present issues and perspectives in this Train the Trainers seminar and workshop under the 5 centers clearly spelled out in the primary working documents, that's to say flyers and brochure, made available to all the participants. Now, the value of a Train the Trainers workshop and seminar of this nature is the enormous multiplier effect of its anticipated successful outcome. The crisis in the Nigerian education sector, particularly in the tertiary subsector, is palpable even to the uninitiated. Many scholars have provided profound analysis over the past decade or so, and we need not overlap the issue of problem definition at this platform. However, since we expect many of our experts at this event to highlight the value of interactive mechanisms in teaching, I should like to inquire from members of this esteemed audience what they would consider the 3 most critical weaknesses of the Nigerian tertiary education system. I think the Vice Chancellor mentioned a good number of them in his presentation, but while I pause for an answer, I don't know who can venture to tell me one such major weakness. Anybody in the audience? Off the cuff, what do you consider to be the 3 most critical weaknesses of our tertiary education institutions? Lack of teaching skills, yes? Anybody from this angle? The fair one there, can you tell me? Lack of instructional materials, yes. At the center here, the chap directly opposite me with some engraving in the t-shirt, yes? Yes, sitting like this. Can you tell me one critical weakness of our system at the tertiary level? I'm waiting. Pardon? What? Continuous assessment? On seriousness of teachers. First class. Okay. Over here. Anybody? I'm going to hear the unseriousness of students. Yes? Too many theories, no practice. That's what we call too many Indians and no chiefs, or too many chiefs, no Indians. Okay. Yes, please. On extension of what?
Job-breaking terms.
Job-breaking terms. Was good they try to impress you, right? Conquerability, okay? Sounds like Zebrudaya. Now, we've heard a lot of what you consider very serious matters. And I'm happy that one of them, I ventured to guess that one, but one of them is the deteriorating teaching capability of many tertiary education teachers. Is that correct? Okay. Now, if that were the case, then the level of this present project of ours would have been perfectly justified. Which brings me to the concept of mentoring, which Professor Kamakolam mentioned, first in passing. We're all thinking alike, really, and the vice chancellor too. Mentoring is very important. And I say a mentor has been defined in several ways, depending on specific circumstances. Now, but fundamental to all the variants of definitions are the concepts of trust, interest, empathy, normally exhibited by an experienced older person called a mentor, able to transfer something of value by guiding, helping, teaching, and overseeing the development of a younger aspirant, the mentee. Now, this is a time-tested mechanism of infusing skills necessary for competence in both teaching and research, both of which are useful in tertiary education settings. Now, for a tertiary education system or institution to benefit fully from a mentoring program, it must achieve and maintain an appropriate balance in the ratio of senior to junior cadres of its academic staff in all its main courses of study. And a formal program of mentoring in an institution will first require the HOD or the dean to arrange the pairing of new and up-and-coming academics to mature senior lecturers or professors, the pairing of them as available in the system. The mentor-mentee relationship of interest to us here should be one in which the goal remains the acquisition by the mentee of skills sufficiently high to equip him or her to adopt best practices in the practice of the two major areas of university assignment, namely teaching and research. And hopefully to satisfy essential criteria for professional development and the attainment of a fulfilling career as a tertiary education institution teacher, namely to become a respectable professor, not a prophet. Okay. Now, this goal can be obtained under the altruistic support. Altruism is a major element in the concept of mentoring. Altruism, you should have no interest beyond doing what is good. So it can be achieved under the altruistic support, encouragement, and overall superintendence of the mentee by the mentor I personally see as one of the possible outcomes of this Coficon seminar and workshop the emergence of a future core of mentors in our tertiary education institution. I heard over the news yesterday that the Minister of Education, or whoever it was, or someone was telling the Minister of Education to consider the possibility of extending the retirement age of university teachers to what? 70. This will be the real core of mentors, if you ask me. They can't do much of teaching, but they can do a lot of mentoring, and they can be very useful in the system. Now, mentoring in Nigerian tertiary education institutions had worked in the past because the mentors were up to date in the skills and relevant attitudes of their profession. Nowadays, you see somebody called a professor, and by the time you finish speaking to him for 10 minutes, you're not so sure whether he was lecturer one or an assistant prophet, or both. Now, this situation enabled them to carry out appropriate mentoring. In addition, the then would-be mentees were eager to come under the wings of their mentors and patiently and earnestly understudy the masters. Under the present day largely disoriented circumstances of our nation's tertiary institutions, mentors, more than ever before, need continuing education of the type and nature envisaged in the present seminar and workshop run by Coficon in order to remain relevant. The question is, how do we ensure that the would-be present-day mentor possesses the right skills and attitude, very important, an attitude relevant to this unique method of improving teaching and research skills among our teachers? The answer, in my humble opinion, is biblically, by their fruits ye shall know them. Now, in concluding, I'll say that nearer home, in our traditional educational system, the well-known Nwaozu, if you're an Abra man, Nwafia, or Nwashwa, in our own location, institution among the Igbo, possesses strong mentoring elements which guarantee intergenerational production of master, merchants, or craftsmen. So, as Igbo adage says, as the mother goat chews the cud, the little one watches her closely, right? A high percentage of my generation of university teachers benefited immensely from both foreign and local mentoring. So, as we prepare our final handover notes, which is part of the thing we're doing now, let us not forget to recommend very strongly to the current generation the great value of mentoring as an adjunction to the wide range of methods available for imparting best practices in teaching and research skills in tertiary education institutions. Finally, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chancellor, let me thank you all for your kind and valued audience, and please accept our highest regards and esteem for the honor you have done us by attending this opening ceremony. We trust that all the participants will duly attend all the technical sessions and go home with abundant professional rewards. May God bless you all. Thank you.